Well, I want the country to have greater energy security and independence because we can't be held to ransom by hostile foreign countries. We also need cheaper energy because our energy bills are simply too high, and we need cleaner energy as we transition to net zero. That's why today I've created a brand new first-of-its-kind department for energy security and net zero, headed by one of our most capable and experienced ministers, Shapps. Now, earlier this year I set out my promises to the British people to halve inflation, grow the economy, reduce debt, cut waiting lists and stop the boats. The changes to government I've announced today will help us deliver on those promises.
Prime Minister, you just shifted around the same faces. How is this going to do anything to reverse the slide in your party's fortunes?
I think we've seen over the last year in particular the impact that happens to people's bills at home when energy policy doesn't work properly, when we're reliant on imported energy from hostile countries. That's why the creation today of a new department focused specifically on energy security and net zero is so important. It's going to mean that we can reduce people's energy bills. That's so important. It means we can produce more energy here at home, giving us independence and security, and it means we can transition to cleaner forms of energy as we hit our net zero ambitions and create jobs in the process, as we're seeing here today. That's why today's changes are really important. We're focused on delivering for the British people, and this will help us do that.
Isn't the last thing that departments need, having faced so many ministerial changes, is a costly reorganisation?
No, I think what we need to do is deliver for the country. At the beginning of this year, I set out 5 priorities: to halve inflation, grow the economy, reduce debt, cut waiting lists, and to stop the boats. The changes to government I've announced today will help us deliver on those promises for the British people, particularly the creation of a brand new first-of-its-kind department for energy security and net zero, so we can really focus on that issue, bring down people's energy bills, produce more energy here at home, and make sure that that energy is clean and renewable as we transition to net zero. I know that that's a priority that the country has. It's a priority of mine. Today's changes will help us deliver it.
Why have you not dealt with the most pressing personnel issue facing your cabinet, Dominic Raab?
Well, with regard to Dominic Raab, I've asked the independent advisor some time ago to have a look at the historic issues that have been raised. The independent advisor is conducting his investigation. I can't prejudge the outcome of that investigation. It's right that it concludes, but as people have seen from how I've acted in the past, when I'm presented with conclusive independent findings that someone in my government has not acted with the integrity or standards that I would expect of them, I won't hesitate to take swift and decisive action. That's what I've done in the past, but with regard to this situation, it's right that we let the independent process continue.
Let's move on to Richard Sharp. The BBC chair has just told the Select Committee this morning that he told Boris Johnson he was applying to be BBC chair, and he told him he was in touch with Sam Blythe about a loan. In what world is that acceptable?
Well, this is obviously about an appointment that was made by a previous Prime Minister before I took this job, so it's hard for me to comment on the details of it. What I do know is that his appointment process was conducted rigorously and transparently. It was approved by a panel of experts and indeed a cross-party select committee in Parliament. But it is right that people have confidence in the process, and that's why the independent Commissioner on Public Appointments is re-looking at the process to make sure that everything was done correctly.
Do you think people can have any confidence in the process? It just looks like establishment proneness.
Well, as I said, at the time, the process was considered to be one that was conducted fairly, rigorously, transparently, in line with all the guidance set out that exists for these things. A cross-party group of MPs in Parliament thought the process was good and recommended that Richard Sharp was appointed. An expert panel of independent people also said the same thing. But it's right that now the independent Commissioner on Public Appointments is re-looking at the process so people can have that confidence.
And just finally, on the terrible situation in Turkey and Syria, what support is the UK offering?
This is obviously an incredibly tragic situation that we're all seeing in Turkey and Syria. I want everyone to know that we are doing what we can to provide support. We're in touch with the authorities in both Syria and Turkey, and specifically we are in the process of sending 77 search and rescue experts to Turkey. That's the most immediate need that they have communicated to us that we can help with. It's providing help to them on the search and rescue side of it, where we do have people who are particularly experienced at that, and we'll be sending that support as quickly as possible.